Okay. Testing. 1, 2, 3. I think we're live for Dia dos Namorados. Okay. So, yep, I think we're good. So today, we're going to talk about love and dating because love is in the air, I believe. Dia dos Namorados. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. In Brazil and Portugal, I think, are the only countries they. So I forget exactly why. I think I was reading it has something to do with Saint Anthony or Santo Antonio. So what I did was I, of my own free will, have been watching The Bachelorette. Not sure if you guys do. Not sure if people watch The Bachelorette in Brazil. I think so. It's that show where people give roses to people. It's The Bachelorette is the female version. The Bachelor is the male version. So it's one girl in a group of guys trying to win her over. That's one of the expressions for today. So what I did was I was writing down some expressions, some strange expressions that they were saying on the show. I also wrote down some just normal expressions that you hear on a day-to-day basis. Some are you can use not just for dating and love and Valentine's Day. So let's see. I think I have, let's see, how many? I think at least 20 expressions. I think 20 expressions. But math is not my best subject, so it might be more, it might be less. Okay, so why don't we start with the first one I wrote down? Actually, let's start with the one that I said before. To win someone over. I think that one makes sense. It's not a confusing idiom. To win someone over is to win their heart, to attract them, or to make them want to go on a date with you, something like that. Yeah. So win someone over. Another one. When you meet someone and you get off to a very good start, or you have an instant connection with someone, you can say sparks are flying. Sparks are flying. Let me write that one down. I'll write it in the comments here. Sparks are flying. I'm not sure. I think this expression doesn't exist in Portuguese. Spark. Do you guys know what spark is? Spark is from a flame. It's those little tiny flames that happen when you're making a fire. The old way. I think no one makes fires like this anymore. But if you do, there's going to be some sparks flying. That might be a good first date. You can invite somebody over, make a fire with some rocks, you can say, oh, sparks are flying. And I don't think you will get a second date. Okay, we're getting some people here. Comment if you have any questions. Or comment if you can think of any examples with these expressions. So far we have win someone over, and we have sparks are flying. Sparks are flying. Another one, this one is not so good. It's being stood up. Stood up. So this is a phrasal verb. So stood comes from stand, right? I don't know exactly the origin of this expression, but it's when, anybody know? It's when you go on a date with someone, or you plan on going on a date, and that person doesn't show up. Another phrasal verb, show up. It means to appear or to come to the date. So hopefully nobody here has been stood up before. You can comment your sad stories about being stood up. I have never been stood up because I don't think I've ever been on a proper date. I think maybe it's a bit old-fashioned, the dating. Oh, we have a guy cutting my grass, cutting my lawn. Anyway, so we have stood up, and then we have something when you're excited for a date. Right before you get stood up, you're very excited for a date, and you can say, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. This is also a strange expression. I think pumped is famous from Pump Up the Jam, that song. Pump is something basically when, for example, you're pumping up a soccer ball, the World Cup is coming, or you pump up a balloon. So you're so full of energy that you're pumped up. Doesn't mean you're fat, don't worry. Doesn't mean your stomach is pumped up. So yeah, this is actually very common, not just for Valentine's Day, not just for dating. It's common for just anything. Oh, I'm really pumped to watch the Black Panther, which I saw, and I was not so impressed by the Black Panther, I think. Yeah, you could say I'm really pumped for the date, really pumped to see that new band, that kind of stuff. Another one is to blow out of proportion. This is a good one if you're fighting with people. You should always mention this one if you want to end the relationship quickly. You can say, oh, stop being so dramatic. So that is something that my wife never does. Always very calm and collected. Okay, and then let's see. Similar to sparks flying is something saying like, every time I see you, I get butterflies. So I'm not exactly sure why butterflies. It's butterflies are, I'm not sure if you have this expression in Portuguese. It's when you're nervous, you have butterflies in your stomach. I think maybe in Portuguese it's a different insect. I'm not sure. But you can comment and let me know what insect appears in your stomach when you are nervous. But butterflies, nervous in a good way. You get really excited when you see that person. And then, let's see. We can say here, to be rubbed the wrong way. Rub. Rub is this, when you're rubbing something on someone. So rub the wrong way is to really be annoyed by someone. You can say, that person's voice rubs me the wrong way, or when I see that person, or that person in general rubs me the wrong way. Really gets me angry, gets me upset. I don't know if you can be rubbed the right way. Maybe you can, maybe that's not appropriate. And then we have fall in love. I think most people know this expression, to fall in love. I think in Portuguese, you do not say that. You don't say cair em amor. I don't think. But in English, it's something very violent. To become in love is something very violent where you slip on a floor, sparks fly. Yeah, it's not something good to fall in love in English. So you fall on the ground and then the person picks you back up, something like that. But then people say something like, I fell hard for that person. So sometimes you don't need to say love. You can just say, I fell. Oh, that guy, I fell hard and I fell fast when I saw him. So hopefully not literally, hopefully it's the expression. And then we have on the same page. Page, I think everybody knows, similar in Portuguese, página. But page, like we're on the same page, we're reading a book and we're on the same page of the book. So it means we have the same understanding. We have the same understanding. So I think I heard this on the show when they were discussing their long-term desires, like to have a family, to settle down, which usually means to have a family. So when you settle, I'm not sure if you know, settle is to calm down. So people use this when they say to have a family, to settle down. And so if the people both agree, yeah, I want to have 3 kids, 2 girls, 1 boy. Oh yeah, we're on the same page. I want exactly the same things in the relationship. Also, they were talking about equal responsibilities. So the bachelorette didn't want to do all of the housework, like the stereotype. So they were on the same page. They were going to share the responsibilities in the house. This next one is kind of old, but this person walked in with weird clothing. I think he was dressed like a chicken. And the girl said, oh, you got a very nice get up, or I like your get up. So get up. I think this is an older expression, not so old, but maybe 1990s. Yeah, something like that. So not so old, but it means your clothing. Not your clothing, your whole outfit. So your get up is your your shoes, your pants, your shirt, everything together. And this one. To be easy on the eyes. To be easy on the eyes. Sense, right? It's when somebody is good looking or attractive, you can say they're easy on the eyes. I guess something hard on the eyes would be, I don't know, somebody very ugly, and it hurts you to see them. It's very intense. But someone easy on the eyes. They also, when there's somebody on a TV show or a movie who doesn't really do anything, who's not important to the show, but they're good looking, people call them eye candy. Eye candy. So this can be a man or a woman who is just there because they're easy on the eyes. They're eye candy. Let's see here. Have each other's back. This was another thing that they mentioned. She said, I think it's really important in relationships to have each other's back. Oh, I'm easy on the eyes. Thank you. Yeah, I think we gotta keep it calm. We gotta settle down in the chat. So what was I saying? Oh, have each other's back. This one doesn't make sense to have someone's back, but I think it comes from war. Or those movies like James Bond goes into the room. He says, "I got your back," because he's gonna take care of anyone shooting at him from behind. So, but also to be the support for someone. So to have their back is to support them in difficult moments. Yeah, I got your back. I got you. Sometimes people say, I got you. And let's see here. Had a blast. So if you are not stood up on a date, then you can probably say you had a blast after the date. Blast is another word for explosion. So I guess it's similar to sparks flying. After the sparks fly, there's an explosion. And you had a blast. This can be used for anything, not just for dating. You can say, I had a blast at the soccer game. I don't know. Can't think of any good examples. Somebody can give me a good example of having a blast somewhere. I had a blast traveling Europe. Something like that. You enjoyed yourself. Let's see here. This one is very common, this next one. Also doesn't make so much sense, I think. Maybe it does. Head over heels in love with someone. So heel is the back of your foot. Head, you know. So head over your heels in love. So it means you're extremely in love with someone. This is very common. I think it's more common in movies than in real life. Or maybe that's just my personal experience that nobody has told me they're head over heels in love with me. But I think it's very extreme. But you can hear it very often in shows and movies, things like that. Because it is almost the World Cup, there's this other expression here called "get the ball rolling." This one they used in the show too, because she wanted to meet all the guys in the show. So get the ball rolling is to start. This is an expression that also can be used for any situation where you want to start. It's you don't want to wait for anything. So at a business meeting, for example, everybody's there and you can say, okay, let's get the ball rolling. Let's start the meeting. Things like that. So get the ball rolling. Make my heart stop or skip a beat. So this one, I think maybe exists in Portuguese to have your heart stop. Usually it's not a good thing if your heart stops. But if your heart stops because you see someone that you love or that you're really attracted to, obviously it means that you are blown away by their beauty, maybe, or maybe their personality. Usually, make my heart stop. Usually it's physical appearance, I think. But your heart can stop or it can skip a beat. So your heart's beating and then it goes back to normal. I guess if you make your heart stop, you're dead. It's over for you. So stay safe on this Dia dos Namorados. I have a question about, because we call it Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is for everybody. Well, it's for husband, wife, spouses, girlfriend, boyfriend, random people. But is Dia dos Namorados only for boyfriend and girlfriend? If so, that's a good thing. I recently got married, and so I don't need to buy any presents. Maybe. I'm not sure. So, ask out someone. Another phrasal verb. Out is very common for dating vocabulary, because you can go out with someone, which means to go on a date, to go to the movies or a restaurant or something like that. And then when you ask someone if they want to go to a restaurant, you ask them out. You wouldn't say this to somebody. You wouldn't say this to the person you're talking to. You wouldn't say, hi, can I ask you out? You would say this maybe to your friends. Say, oh, I asked out this girl or guy. I asked them out and they said yes, hopefully. Yeah. That's one I like a lot. Excellent expression. I also want to know if this exists in Portuguese. I think it must. It must be a universal expression of being a third wheel. Being a third wheel. Any idea what that means? Third wheel. So, I guess before cars, there were only bicycles. And the third wheel is not necessary. So, third wheel is a person who there's a date between two people and someone says, hey, can I come to the movies with you? And the couple says, oh yeah, okay, no problem. But he's the third wheel. Nobody wants him there. Hopefully none of you have been third wheels. Maybe some of you will be third wheels tonight, but it's always good to be a first or second wheel, never the third wheel. We have the expression too, that three is a crowd. Three is a crowd. Again, I think it's a universal idea. The next one, blind date. Blind date. So blind, can't see, cego. Doesn't mean that you're actually blind. It's not a date between two cegos, between two blind people. I guess it could be, but it's when you never met that person before. I guess when you're dating online, online dating in, for example, using one of those dating websites, it can be a blind date, but I think a blind date is more you never met this person before, you have no idea what they look like, and they're usually set up. Someone sets you up. Okay, so we have out and also up for these phrasal verbs. So set up someone is to organize a date between two people. So if you want to set up your friend on a date with a colleague from work, and then if they don't know each other, it would be a blind date. Hello, Ivani Souza. Good afternoon. Afternoon, 12 o'clock. Yeah, technically afternoon. So then we have here blind date. It's cool. Now, okay, so you go on the blind date. You have no idea what the person looks like. And surprisingly, they're very good looking, and you can say something like, you look absolutely stunning tonight. Stunning. Does anyone know what stunning means? Stun is when there's a protest and the police use like a taser. It stuns you and you kind of are unconscious for some time. So stunning is a word that is used a lot, especially on Instagram, I think, or Facebook. People Especially between women. It's more common, I think. But this was a line that I heard from one of the potential fiancés, the potential dates on The Bachelorette, which I am a big fan of. Bachelorette Becca, I think. Yeah, so you look absolutely stunning tonight. Okay. So if any of you have a date tonight, you can say that. Okay. Then if everything's going really well and you've dated for a long time and you want to get married, people say, pop the question. Pop. Pop is that sound, like it's a sound word. What do they call it? Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. Those words that are sounds like click or whatever. So pop is when you open something, it goes pop. Pop. And in Canada, we use the word pop for soda, like Sprite or Coca-Cola. We call that pop. I think in some places in the United States also, maybe they say soda pop, but in Canada, we just say pop. Anyway, not related to Coca-Cola. To pop the question is to surprise. Oh, it's like the Jack in the Box. I don't know what you call in Brazil when it, it has that song. And the guy pops out. So you pop the question. Question is, will you marry me? And the answer should always be yes. Especially if you're on a big screen in a baseball game and you pop the question in front of 100,000 people. The last one is a sad one. Is breakup. Breakup makes sense, I think. To break, partir. And then in English, we need to add directions to everything for emphasis. So you break up is to stop dating someone, to stop being in a relationship with someone. Yeah. And then I wrote down one. I was at a family party on Sunday, and I asked some younger people, like 15 years old. No. They're probably 17, 18. And I said, what's the cool way to say that you're dating someone or you're together with someone? And they said chopping. So when you're chopping someone, I think that is strange. Chop is to cut. So probably don't use this one unless you plan on dating someone in high school in Canada. I don't know if it's just Canada, actually. I assume it's also the United States, but I didn't know about this before. Yeah, so those are all the expressions I think I have. I might have missed some. Nope. Seems like I got all of them. And yeah, so this is Valentine's Day special. If you have or had any questions, you can contact. We have a website there, mainenglish.com/PT for Portuguese. And then, yeah, so I don't know really what happens. If you can let me know in the comments, or you can send an email saying what your plans are for Dia dos Namorados. Are you going to stay at home? Are you going to go out with friends or with your partner? Yeah, let us know. I think we'll stop there for now. And yeah, so I will see you guys next time. And Feliz Dia dos Namorados. See ya.